Blockbuster versus Netflix. You know, people start getting smarter and people, like you selling free stuff and your closing rate is 20%. You just sold $100 million of jobs that nobody gonna warrant you. That's what you telling me. Roofing companies, they were calling themselves roofing companies. In reality, they were Ponzi schemes. It's not a problem. 3 estimates is not a problem. The problem is that you don't know how to compete. They were just chasing money. That stuff, I mean, we literally have famous names in the industry being in jail for like hooker scandal. We have guys dying at like storming conferences in a hotel of overdose. That's a freaking storm industry for you. If you're a storm chaser, or even if you're in roofing businesses and your closing rate is 20%, you suck. This is just my observation. I have a lot of data to that I've been looking at, and I have analytical mind to analyze data, but also I'm on the field a lot, I'm on the phone a lot. It was very interesting last 2-3 years. I've seen a lot of talks about, you know, roofing companies, usually storm chasing companies, going public, you know, and I want to explain why those deals are falling apart. I've seen quite a few companies sold out, something new to the roofing industry where one company buys another. I also have seen companies sell and then later back down to their initial offer. So like FK Roofing, one of those companies who sold them, you've seen articles, if you follow the story. I visited FK Roofing a couple months ago. If you haven't seen that interview, go check it out. Heath Hicks is a real good friend of mine, absolutely love him. But I want to discuss what's the future. Can we take roofing companies public? Can we, are we going to see major franchises on the rise? Because we do have quite a few companies that are super big, companies like Power Home Remodeling, you know, $500 million company. We see, you know, quite a few $100 million companies. And I want to talk about what's the future of storm chasing. What's the future of retail operation? Because everything is changing. If you have not noticed, a lot of storm chasers are going back to retail, or they want to understand retail. Hey, Amber, can you please get me some water? Thank you so much. So if you're in a storm chasing and you're trying to get out of the storm chasing, I want to explain what have been happening in the last 10 years. If you guys brand new in the business, and I call it, you know, I see huge changes. Heath Hicks, actually first one named it. It's a mushroom effect, right?
It's like a reverse pyramid. You know, there was 2 or 3 companies down here, and then the next 100 all were people that worked there. The next 1,000 were all people that worked there. We literally just learned it that way. It's what I was taught. I didn't know there was anything wrong with it. It took me a few months to figure out, this doesn't really feel right.
So you have, you know, 20 years ago, you have first companies who started doing the storm chasing. And I think influence there was very understandable. So we have entire generation of people who, you know, back in the day, well, you know, roofers, they were tradesmen. And I would say about 20-30 years ago, all of a sudden people learned how to make money, how to close deals, you know, Wolf of Wall Street, all of that stuff. So plus we have internet, we have Instagram, the lifestyle, you know, get rich fast scheme, guys like Grant Cardone on the rise. So all of a sudden we have all this, you know, tradesmen coming in, working hard with their hands. And we have this new breed of guys who just want to make money. They want a Rolex watches. They want to be next Wolf of Wall Street, but Wall of roofing industry. Would you consider yourself as a Grant Cardone of roofing industry?
I'm American. I'm a capitalist pig, and I want to beat Grant Cardone.
Right? They figure out, in every industries got disrupted. We have marketers on the rise. We have roofers on the rise. We have a lot of guys who did not want to work, but they want to get paid fast. You know, Instagram helped it, Facebook helped it, and it was massive scale of those guys. So they ruined a lot of industries, unfortunately. You know, if you watch, I love American Greed because I love study businesses. I love biographies. I like to study, you know, like Madoff cases. Like, how did that guy got away with a $50 billion scam, Ponzi scheme? So a lot of what ended up happening, a lot of roofing companies, they were calling themselves roofing companies. In reality, they were Ponzi schemes. And they gave birth to a lot of roofing companies that are in business today. I just came from Chicago. We did company tour with Advantex, Peter Paschke, met him again. And in Chicago, I would say, I know probably 50 companies that came out of 1 or 2 or 3. So storm chasers that were born 10, 15 years ago, they were known for a few things. One of those things were bad management. They were money driven. They did not care about customers much. They were just chasing money. Oh, it stormed there, let's go. Or look at that storm or hurricane, let's go. So they did not pay their bills on time. They did not take care of their employees. They did not grow right. So a lot of guys who were working for them were watching all of that and started their own businesses. And they're like, you know what, this is not right. I'm going to do my own. But unfortunately, a lot of them inherit the same problems. Waiving deductibles, hard pressure stuff, hard pressuring people at the door. A lot of those companies have 1-star rating on Google, on BBB, because they never learn customer service. They're really good at over promising, but they always under deliver. Not always, but for the majority part. You guys know what I'm talking about. Now, what's happening now, the whole world has changed. Now we have companies like Uber, Amazon. It's all customer service driven companies. And the best analogy I can put in place now, it's Blockbuster versus Netflix, right? So storm chasers, obviously a Blockbuster in the story. So storm chasers thought, we're too big, we can't fail. I know a lot of guys who still do business the way they were doing 20 years ago. I built $40 million business, I built $50 million business. But if you look at the actual business, you don't even know the name of the company. They didn't build legacy. You can't find them. Their reviews online are horrible, nothing to be proud of. And consumers became smarter. So now consumers do care about reviews, do care about their experience. And here's my message to all of those guys who have been in business 20, 25 years and used to that easy money, easy storm chasing money. If your closing rate is about 20%, you suck. Here's the reality of storm chasing industry. And the problem that we have now, and I'll explain in a second what's going to happen in the future and what's happening now and why it doesn't work anymore. So think about what storm chasers were selling. They were not selling service. They were not selling product. They were selling air. They were selling free stuff. They were literally knocking at the door and saying, hey, let me replace your roof. And by the way, you don't have to pay anything, not even deductible. If that's you, comment below. I want to hear from you if that's your sales pitch. But here's the challenge. They couldn't even sell all the customers. Like in the beginning, maybe 20 years ago, it sounded too good to be true, but then people learn. And after you replace a couple of roofs, people start getting smarter, and people, you selling free stuff and your closing rate is 20%. So if you're a storm chaser, or even if you're in the roofing businesses and your closing rate is 20%, you suck. You have to either get out of the business or ask yourself what you do, so badly that your closing rate is 20%. Here's why. 20% of people will buy from anyone. 20% of people literally will buy from absolutely, you knock at their door, 20% of people will buy from anyone. 50% of people will buy, based on 3 estimates, which is what all hate. I hear this question all the time, Dmitry, they told me 3 estimates. Good. Freaking stand out, brand yourself, be different. It's okay for people to take 3 estimates. That's not the problem. 3 estimates is not a problem. The problem is that you don't know how to compete, how to differentiate yourself, how to build a relationship with the homeowner. Because you suck at sales and you only can pressure them, you can only build sense of urgency, which is I'm not against. But the tactics that sales reps used, in a storm chasing industry, you're selling pretty much free roofs. And then you're not even selling all the jobs. But here's the deal. And you maintain a 1-star rating on BBB or on Google or Facebook because nobody talks nicely about you. You don't pay your bills on time. You don't pay your vendors, your partners, your sales guys. So a lot of people got screwed. So it's a mushroom effect. So you have a couple guys who used to really good money. By the way, Retail, if you're a retail contractor, never failed. We have companies in every market that does $50 million. We have companies here in Minneapolis who've been doing business for 20, 30 years. They do 20, 25, 30, $40 million. You don't need to leave Minneapolis to do $40 million. You just have to stay in the game long enough, keep growing, keep scaling your business, keep being smart, right? So we have companies that are $40 million business. Now we have storm chasers that come in that are don't have $40 million business, but they want to get $40 million business when it's easy. So what I'm telling you is this: every market have enough work for almost any company to grow to up to $100 million. You just have to brand yourself well, build the processes, build a team, do the stuff right, take care of the homeowners, take care of the warranties. I see a lot of guys on the stages now that going in and teaching how to do hundreds of million dollars. So if you're telling me you've done $100 million in business, but you're out of business now, you don't have nothing, you just sold $100 million of jobs that nobody gonna warrant you. That's what you're telling.
Now, when you hire your key managers, it's extremely important as well. You're not gonna go out and hire everybody. But if you think about the takeoff, a lot of storms are gonna hit this year, hailstorms, tornadoes, windstorms. If you think about when that storm hits, you got that one year of opportunity. Everybody's doing a takeoff, placing ads in Craigslist, right? Hey man, come work for me, I'm gonna give you a truck.
And you're on the stage teaching me how to do business? Come on, cut me a slack. If you're not in business now, you're just a scammer. You scammed a whole bunch of people for $100 million and you got out of business. Who's gonna take care of your jobs? So it's a mushroom effect. A lot of people went in, made a whole bunch of money, didn't do it right, and gave birth to all these companies. So now what's happening, and give me 1 second, let me back to my notes. So that's kind of brief history of storm chasing, but here's the future. Now people are smarter. So those companies, they're literally blockbuster. They thought they're too big. Listen, Netflix did not put Blockbuster out of business. Blockbuster put Blockbuster out of business. Retail companies not gonna put storm chasers out of business. Storm chasers will be out of business as we know it in the next 10 years. Here's why. People are getting smarter and smarter. Nobody likes to be sold. Just because you're selling me free roof, free upgrades, doesn't mean that I have to go with you. I can go with a local retail company. And I see huge trend of very smart guys. I see a huge trend. It's reverse mushroom. So mushroom it looked like this. So you have one company here, and then it gave birth to like 10 people or so, and then those companies gave birth to another. We pretty much planting our competition. That was what's happening in the storm chasing industry. What's happening right now, I call it reverse mushroom. In every market now, you have one major company, a good company, with really good processes, with a really good marketing plan, with a really good solid CRM, with a good process in every department of the company. And what they're doing is they absorbing talent from all over them, right? So I see companies who's doing it right today, who's going fast to $15 million, $20 million, $25. So now people have options in the industry. So now think about this. Like I just came from Rapid Roofing from Michigan, $15 million company. They also have Victor's Roofing, $17 million company. All Michigan, Canton area companies. We have companies like that all over the country. Apple Roofing, $25 million company. AFCO Roofing, $25 million company. All over the place. So what's happening is now it's reverse mushroom. So now bigger, smarter companies who are, cash rich, they have cash, they buy buildings, they're smart with their money. Because remember, storm chaser were very bad at managing money. They were making money, but it was Ponzi scheme. They were buying their houses. Don't even let me start on cocaine and all of that stuff. I mean, we literally have famous names in the industry being in jail for like hooker scandal. We have guys dying at storming conferences in a hotel of overdose. That's a freaking storm industry for you. Like a lot of bad things were happening. People mismanage money a lot, but now we have a new wave of guys. We have very smart guys coming in from corporate world. A lot of people realize you can make a lot of money if you do it right. roofing business is better than, in my opinion, looking at numbers, looking at data, is way better than food industry, fast food industry, right? So, average McDonald's does about $3 million a year. Margins are okay, but your margins actually can be very good. Like, if you follow Gary V's margin on $3 million liquor store is 10%. The same as, roofing industry. I'm just telling you this. It's many people realize how good roofing industry is, and we have this reverse mushroom where good solid companies start taking talent. So now let's say you have one company that has 50 million. And it can literally absorb a lot of smaller guys, because that's what I see now. You have option to work for yourself today or to go work for bigger, clean company. Like some companies, they pay very good. You can make $150,000 as a project manager for good, reputable company instead of having your company work for yourself, have all the hats and all the struggles and make maybe $1 or $2 million a year and still probably not going to make $150,000. So those solid companies, they're putting out of business smaller ones, but they're also absorbing talent. A company who does $25 million and do it right, they can offer you a vehicle, they can offer you stability, they always have jobs, you can work for them on different positions, you can be sales guy. Like, to be honest with you, if I would lose my business today, if I would not have a storm group and I would have to start over, 5 years ago, I think the answer would be, what would I do? I probably would go and start a business because I did not see so many good companies. Today, I might apply for a job, like sales job. I would rather maybe go to work for someone like EFCO Roofing, knowing that I can earn, $500,000 a year in a couple of years just being excellent sales rep for them. I know I'll get there faster than starting business from the ground up. Not many people are talking about it, but this is your reality today in the next 10 years. So ask yourself why people don't like storm chasing. Well, I'll answer how I can. Storm chasing is like a blockbuster. It's the best I can describe. They're stubborn, they made their money, and if you're trying to discuss something with a storm chaser, they're set in their way. But I'm here to tell you that Blockbuster was very stubborn. Nobody believed that a company like Blockbuster could be out of business. Nobody believed that Barnes & Noble going to be out of business by Amazon. 3,000 employees versus 150, and Amazon did it. Why? Customer service matters. So talk to Blockbuster today. Talk to Barnes & Noble today, multi-billion-dollar company. So when people go on a stage and say, well, it's a $300 billion industry, yes, but you do business and you do it in a way that consumers don't want you to do business with them. So if you're not investing in the brand, if you're not local, if you're not taking care of your homeowners, I'm telling you right now, you will be out of business by very good players. Also, in this day and time, word spreads very fast. Sales guys are getting much, much smarter. So last year, we have a few hails in the market. One of the guys who work for me now, he came from Colorado, Levi. So I remember those guys like calling me. I have so many calls. People call me and ask, are you hiring? They didn't know nothing about Roofing Insights. They Googled Minneapolis roofing. They found Storm Group Roofing, 4.8, 4.9 stars. And they call me and say, well, I'm in Colorado. I heard you guys have some hailstorms. And they wanted to work for me. I did not know them. They did not know me. Why did it happen? Because sales guys are smarter now too. When you brand yourself and you position yourself well on the market, people will want to work for you, because would you rather work for the company that has good reputation in an established market, or would you rather work for the storm chaser who honestly, and a lot of times back in the day, didn't give you nothing to give it to you, right? So we have quite a few good players. My prediction is storm chasing as we know it is a dying breed. And more people understand that internet is a great equalizer. You cannot build a company. I mean, you can build a relationship. You can build, all your multi-million-dollar deals and all of that. I'm not against it. I'm all for it. Go chase some big deals. but it's not for everyone. You know, sometimes you are better off, and we'll make few more videos about like why it's better to stay small and grow steady than just to go. I've seen more companies go out of business and file bankruptcy because they did couple apartment complexes. They went after big jobs, and then they file bankruptcy. Like we have a company here in town, Tor Construction. We did a video about them. They built Target, they built US Bank Stadium. How many of you would like to get those? They're out of business. $350 million a year. Why don't you think about it? Did they get the best jobs? Did they have the biggest projects out there? Yes. And what happened? They're nowhere to be found. Company filed bankruptcy. So I would rather grow small and steady. Like we just came from Advantix Roofing from Chicago. $3.5 million. Jeff just bought $45,000 car cash. That's what I'm talking about. Know that, you know, don't owe anybody, pays his bills on time, have plenty of cash in a bank, start business 4 years ago. That's the future. He's going to do $5 million this year in business. How awesome is that? So that's my state of the industry report. I don't even need it. I just realized this board is reversed. Somebody should have told me. Huh?
It's going to be like that unless you're shooting with the camera.
I know, but you guys need to tell me. I can't see it. People. All right. So I want to finish the industry report on a few things. One of them is publicly traded roofing companies. I've been part of many conversations. You guys know a couple names. Many people have tried to take roofing companies public in the last couple of years. They failed. One of the reasons they failed because, again, they were coming from storm chasing industry. Very shady, lots of Ponzi schemes, dirty books. Public, like if you want to take a company public, your books have to be up to date. You can't have a reputation like storm chaser have in our industry. But I think it can be done, and I think in the next 10 years, you will see some roofing businesses taking their business public. It could be franchise, it could be big network, maybe Roofing Insights Network, Roofing Insights Directory go public. I don't know, we'll see. But I think it's very possible for roofing companies grow big enough and fast enough, show that growth, show that trend. Maybe some franchise model. We will see companies going public because we have plenty of good players who are going market after market and they're doing it right. And I applaud them for that. Here at Roofing Insights, you're going to see more and more companies. They're super clean, super conservative, a lot of good players. We travel twice a month. One of the things that I look before I choose company to attend is very simple. I choose companies who manage their money really well, usually have buildings, because if you have a building, you invest something in a building, whether you paid it off or almost paid it off, it tells me a lot about you. It tells me that you have intention to stay. You actually investing in your business. You're not taking everything from it, right? I look at the cars you drive. I look at the buildings you own. I hear the worst in the street. If I hear that you have 10 sales reps you did not pave in the last 6 months and everybody's in your town complaining that you don't pay their subs, guess what? You will never be featured at Roofing Insights. And if we by mistake featured you, we'll do public apology for featuring crook who does not pay, labor that he owes. Because you cannot be a good contractor and not pay his subs or not pay his sales reps. If you never want to be listed or featured by Roofing Insights, that's what you do. Go and screw someone for their money and back down on your deal, and you will never be part of this channel. That's part of the deal. I don't care if you're the biggest or if you're the smallest. You just have to do what's right for people around you. So, finishing up, we'll see more and more franchises. We'll see publicly traded companies, and we will see huge decline from storm chasing to retail companies. By the way, retail model, for those of you who ever question me, I've never been storm chaser in my life, never knocked single door. Just not my model, not my mindset. I'm a branding guy. I want my phone to ring. I want my customer's phone to ring. I want to study consumer behavior to the core, just like restaurants do, just like grocery stores do. I want to understand what people want, what people appreciate, how people want to find you, how people like to be sold, how people like to be educated. That's what I'm after. And I'm going to dedicate next 10 years of my life trying to understand that. This is what we teach at roofing school. Like, I don't teach some gimmicks. I don't teach, like how to get rich fast. I teach consumer behavior online and offline and in the house and in your warehouse and in your office. This is what we teach. This is what we do.
Hey, D, man, what's going on? Hey, I just wanted two things I wanted to say. Thanks a lot for the backpack. You kept talking about this backpack and this backpack. I'm like, what the heck's special about this backpack? But after I got it, that thing was badass. It's like the Swiss Army knife of backpacks. So it is really super cool. So thanks, I'll put it to good use.
Here's the deal, guys. If you have not checked out roofing school yet, I don't know what you are waiting for. You have nothing to lose. When you sign up, we're going to send you a very nice backpack, and depending on your package, on your initial sign-up fee, if you spend $200, $500, doesn't matter. We will put enough goodies inside to help you and your business. We will make it worth, I promise you. We don't do gimmicky demos. We don't do false promises. Everybody who signed up with the school, they love it. They stay with it. But I want you to try it for the backpack, because backpack is what makes the deal really, really cool. It is badass, and you will get it once you sign up. See you guys inside the school.